All right, guys, now we're going to look at dictionaries, which are collections that are unordered, changeable, and indexed with no duplicate members. And these are very similar to JavaScript object literals and Ruby hashes and even JSON. So if you're going to work with JSON in Python, a lot of times you'll decode it into a dictionary, and I'll show you an example of that later on. So let's start off by just creating a simple dictionary, and we'll call it person. And we use our curly braces here. Okay, now the key is going to have quotes around it. That's kind of a big difference between dictionaries and object literals in JavaScript, is we have these quotes around the keys. So let's say first name, and we'll say first name is a string of John. Okay, then we'll do last name is a string of Doe. And let's say age is an int of, let's say, 30. Okay, so if I go ahead and print out this person, let's see what happens. So I'm going to say Python 3 dictionaries.py. Invalid syntax. That's because I put a freaking equal sign. All right, let's try it again. There we go. So it prints it out for us. You can also use a constructor, just like with the other data structures. So what I'll do is copy this, and I'll say person equals, and we want to use dict, like that. Except we wouldn't do, it's actually formatted very differently. We would do first name equals in the string. Probably would have been better off just typing this in. And then last name equals Doe. And age equals 30. And we actually wouldn't want these curly braces. We would want, actually, yeah, that should do it. Take away that one as well. Okay, so let's actually comment this out, make sure we get the same thing, run that, and there we go. So that's another way of doing it. But I'm going to comment this one out. All right, so if we want to access a single value, then we can print person. And in JavaScript, what we would do is say person.firstname, right? We would use a dot. In this case, though, we want to use brackets, okay? Which you can also do in JavaScript, actually. But I just never do. I always use the dot syntax, but in Python, we want to use the brackets and then whatever the key is. So I'll run that, and you can see we get John. Okay, let's see if we want, actually there's another way we can access them as well, and that's by using the get method. So if we want to do print person.get and then parentheses and then the key. So let's get last name. Okay, if we run that, you'll see that we get Doe. So you can use either way. If you want to add something to it, like let's say we want to add a phone number. We'll say add key value. We'll say person phone all right, so now let's save it and let's print out person, and now you can see that phone has been added. Okay, so they are changeable. If you want to get just the keys, we'll say get keys, then we can print person.keys, and I just want to show you, if you want to get the values, we can print person.items. Okay, so let's save that and let's run it, and what I want you to look at is this right here. So dict keys. Okay, this is actually a view object, and it gives you all the different keys: first name, last name, age, and phone, and then all the items, which is going to give you a set of these parentheses with first name John, last name Joe. Well, I guess these aren't really just, not just getting the values, it's getting a view object with the items. Now, if we wanted to make a copy, we could do that. So let's say make copy. So I'll say person2 and set it to person dot copy, and then I'm going to take person2 and I'm going to add a city. So I'll say city, oops, no semicolons, see? That's the JavaScript in me, and the PHP and whatever other languages use semicolons. And then let's print out person2. All right, so we'll clear that and run it. And let's see, person2 is going to be this one right here that I added Boston to. And obviously, if I wanted to change some of the values, I could do that as well. So what about removing an item? Let's get rid of the printout of person2, and let's say remove item. So to do that, we can use del. Let's say we want to remove the age. So we'll say del person age. Okay, let's go ahead and run it. And now down at the bottom here, you'll see that there is no age value. Okay. If we actually, there's another way to do this as well, and that's using the pop method. So if we want to do person dot pop, let's say we want to remove the phone. So go ahead and run that, and now the last one here just has first name and last name. It doesn't have age or phone. If we want to clear the dictionary completely, we can say person dot clear. Okay, so I'll run that, and down at the bottom here, it's just empty curly braces. And again, if you want to get the length, probably should have done this above, but that's fine. We'll say print len person. Actually, let's do person2. We'll print the length of person2, which is 5. Okay, so a lot of times you'll see a list of dictionaries. So let me give you an example of that. We'll say list of dictionaries. So let's say people. Set that to a list. And inside here, we'll have our dictionaries. So like name, we'll say Martha, age 40, and then we'll put a comma here, and then we'll do another one. So name, actually, what did I do here? This should have quotes. Age, we'll say 20. All right, so if we go down here and let's just print out the people list. And down here, you'll see we have a list with two dictionaries. So again, JavaScript people, it's like having an array of objects. And then if we want to focus on one of these, like let's say we want to get the name for Bob for this dictionary here, I could say print people, and I want the one index, which would be the second one, because remember it's 0, 1. And then if I want to get a specific property, I could go, let's say name. So that should print out Bob. So if I go ahead and run that, we look at the bottom, we get Bob. All right, so hopefully this gives you a good idea of how dictionaries work. Again, very close to some of the other data structures in other languages, if you know any other languages. But yeah, so in the next video, I want to get into functions, okay? Because we haven't really talked about the indentation syntax and stuff like that. So we're going to get into functions next.